Hi everyone, Nicole Thomas here, clinical nurse expert, healthcare purpose strategist, author, and the founder of Nicole Thomas Inc., where I educate healthcare professionals who want to live purposefully as a healthcare professional, how to do so through education and empowerment. Today I want to talk to you about one of the realest topics that I have probably ever discussed. And it is about being unapologetically who you are and who you are as a healthcare professional. The reason I feel the need to really and truly talk about this topic is because I find that we as healthcare professionals, we're put in a box. It's just like, individuals that go into the entertainment industry. I compare it to that all the time. Oftentimes artists go into the entertainment business because they have a love and they have a passion for the art, whether that's actual art itself or music, whatever. But once they get inside the industry takes and it crafts them and it makes them different and it makes them be who they want to be. And then now they're not who they're supposed to be. They're not being authentically themselves, right? It's the same thing as healthcare professionals. We have our respective titles that we have worked very, very hard for. Don't get me wrong, but sometimes that starts to define us. It starts to say who we are when really and truly that's not who we are. And we find it rather difficult to break loose of that and to be unapologetically who we are. Now, still keeping in tune with being that person in health, but just really and truly being who we are. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. Oftentimes when people say, "Hey Nicole, what do you do for a living?" And I say, "Oh, I'm a nurse." The very next thing that they ask me is, "Okay, well, what hospital do you work at?" And so I just kind of do my little normal laugh. And I say, well, I am actually in managed care. I am a president of a nonprofit organization. I am an author, and I'm also a motivational speaker. And they say, oh, okay, well, I thought you were a nurse, right? And so the next thing I do is do my general laugh again. And I understand it because they don't really and truly get it, right? And I just kind of explain to them, go through the whole process of what I'm doing and give them my purpose talk and all of that. And then they say, oh, okay, well, I never heard of that, right? But what hurts me a little bit more sometimes is when I have my fellow healthcare professionals who will ask me, so what hospital do you work at, or what area of healthcare do you work in? And I give them the exact same answer. The next thing that they normally do is kind of give me a little side eye. That side eye that we always get when somebody doesn't quite agree with what we're doing. And it used to hurt me because I'm like, well, you're my fellow healthcare professional. You don't get it. I mean, I kind of thought everybody had their passions and their things that they wanted to do, right? But I realized that that wasn't the case. And I found myself trying to justify why I was doing what I was doing and trying to craft it in a way to where they could understand why I was doing what I was doing. And that didn't always work. Some would get it, some wouldn't get it. But for those who wouldn't get it, I would still find myself trying to convince them as to why they should get it. Finally, one day I had a long talk with a very, very close friend of mine who's not in healthcare, but I was just kind of talking to her about kind of what some of my pain and my hurt was from my fellow healthcare professionals. And she told me, Nicole, look, what you're gonna have to understand is your purpose is your purpose alone. If they don't get it, they're not supposed to get it because it wasn't created for them anyway. It's for you, so only you need to get it. Now, if they get it, fine. If they don't, keep it moving. One day they're gonna come back once they get in tune with who they are. And once they get in tune with God, then they'll know that's why it is that she was doing what she was doing. So I really and truly want to encourage everyone to just be authentically, unapologetically yourself. Don't do it in a way that it's, disrespectful to others and you have an air about yourself and you have an air to other people. That's not what I'm saying at all. Still be very, very respectful and mindful of people and their feelings, but don't feel the need to continuously try to get people to understand why you do what you do, because it's not their purpose. It's not their vision. Some may get it, some may not get it. For those that do, fine. For those that don't, that's even great. right? Just don't stop and be unapologetically about it. Don't be wishy-washy. Don't flip-flop because one person doesn't get it and say, now I need to take and change what it is that I'm doing. That's not the way that it goes. It's just not. So we have to learn how to be unapologetically about who we are in health on purpose. And it's not an overnight process. It took me some time to get to that point, right? It took me having some conversations with some of my friends that keep it all the way 100. And they tell me how it is, when it is, and some of my mentors that I have just kind of really and truly helping me to get to this place. But I have so much peace now that I'm in this place, and I'm unapologetically about being in this place, and I don't apologize for it. And when someone doesn't get, Nicole, the president of the nonprofit organization, Nicole, the author, Nicole, the motivational speaker, because of my accolades behind my name, the RN and the MSN and all of that stuff, which, don't get me wrong, I work very, very hard for, but doesn't define me. And so I'm just unapologetically about it. And so that's what I would encourage everyone to also do, and get to that place in your life where you just unapologetically yourself in health on purpose. So with that being said, I'd like to wish you all the best on your journey to being in health on purpose.